Well, you can see just how deep the snow is coming up to the house. Kind of hard to gauge, but say there's a solid foot or more. And we had a storm a couple nights ago. We got a solid 1.5 in the 24 hours. So, well, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Like Clarkwork. As you can see, not a whole lot has happened since I've been gone, which is, considering the structure of the house and all the weird things I've found, is probably a good thing. Today, I'm here for a couple minutes just trying to figure out if I've got enough stone, and if I don't, what I need to do about it. I'm kind of iffy on the amount of stone. So I brought my laser level. I guess different people call these things different names. But I brought that today. Try to take a couple minutes, figure out where the slab, the top, or really the bottom of the slab of concrete is going to be. So that's what we're up to today. So this is the Spectra LL100N laser level, grading level, rotary level. I don't know, different people call them different things. So that's what it is. Kind of looks, if you watched, I know a lot of you guys are from A Drill and a Dream, so if you watched that a couple months ago, I used this to help Abby with her bay window foundation, and she noted that it looks kind of like a piece of alien tech, alien equipment, but it's not. I'm really just gonna kind of set it up and show you guys exactly what it is, how it works, and hopefully try to get an idea of where we're at with the stone, so that I can finish that up and we can get some concrete in here. So we'll see. It's really pretty simple to use. Normally you can buy a tripod that it sets on. I haven't made that purchase yet. Really, you want to just kind of put it on a mostly level area, and this one is mostly self-leveling. Get it turned on. It runs its little course, warm-up course. And there it is. I don't know if you guys can, I don't know if that made any difference to us. You guys can see or can't see, but it turned on. So it levels itself. Because it's dark enough, you can actually see, sometimes you can't, where the laser is on the wall. So it shoots a laser all the way around. Then this guy is the receiver for it, and so it finds that laser and it tells you if you're high or if you're too low in comparison to the laser. So what the laser essentially does is it gives me almost like a level plane to work off of, and then I can figure out if I'm high or low to that plane, if that makes any sense. So now I've got a grading stick for it to go on. I need to find a spot on the wall to kind of go off of. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute here. So there it is. That's kind of our temporary for a minute while I kind of walk around the room and figure out where I think I might need to go with this. So I'm going to use this rock here kind of as a quick base, kind of to set my stick. Essentially, this is the stone foundation that the walls are set on. It's not perfectly level. Surprise, surprise. So I'm going to go off this point. I'm going to set my receiver. Sorry. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear it, but there's that flat line. That means I'm all set. I'm good to go. So right now, it is set really for the top of this stone. So I'm going to walk around, kind of figure out what might be high points, what might be low points, and how I might have to find the wiggle room in between. Okay, so I'm level right there, which means this spot is, I don't know, that is 2 inches maybe? 2 inches lower than that spot right over there, about 10 feet away, which is not very consistent. So we're gonna try the other corner on that end. So that one is pretty close. That one's pretty close here. The bottom of the sill plate is roughly maybe an eighth. This is just my finger guessing. About an 1/8 inch low. So from that point to this point is pretty good, and there's a little bit of quite a bit of a drop off from this point over. About a half inch low. This spot is a half inch low, so that's not too bad. I got half inch low over there. I've got maybe an 1/8 inch low. Over there, I've got like 2 inches low, and I'm gonna check right over here too. So this wall is low. This spot right here is about 3 inches low. That corner down there is the corner that's 2 or so inches low. That wall looks fine. That wall looks mostly fine. And it's 3 inches here, but it's dead on here. So there's something weird. There's something weird happening with this wall. It looks like at some point, I don't know if somebody tried to raise it, but they came in and gave it an inch or so here. Like that is new compared to the original. And there's a board covering up a bunch of stuff here that I probably should take off. And then you get to this spot. This spot it stops, it drops that 2 inches, and it continues at that level. And this is probably, oh, you can see a spider there. There's literally 1.5 feet of snow outside, and there's spiders in here still. Anyways. And this is kind of the weak, I don't want to call it the weak spot, but this is the wall. This is the wall that all the water from that hill comes down and hits right here, hits this wall. This is the spot in the kitchen. If you remember back, all of this wood in here was rotten in the kitchen. And this was all rotten. This was the worst spot of it all right here, because again, all the moisture comes through. So this is kind of a weak area as far as that moisture goes. So let me know in the comments what you think I should do. I honestly don't know if there's a whole lot I can do. I can't jack up this one side of the house to add 2 inches for that. Yeah, let me know what you think I could do to fix this. Or maybe not to fix it, but to do something that'll work at least. I gotta think through it a little bit. The other thing to note, so what I want to do, of course, is coming with concrete. And if you were with me when I tore apart, the floor, the kitchen, all that stuff. Basically, the top of the floor was, you know, somewhere in here, right? Somewhere at the bottom of this, and you can see that it was covered up by that sill. Which, if we're being honest, that sill doesn't look too pretty. And so is that going to need replacing before the concrete? How do you do that? Anyways, so the floor, it can't be much, if it can't be any higher really than the bottom. Guys, I'm just kind of babbling on and I know it. If you haven't followed my train of thought, that's probably okay because I haven't done too well at following myself. But I'll show you up against the wall roughly what I'm thinking. So if this spot right here is the top of the current foundation, I can't disturb, I don't want to rip this foundation out because that would endanger my wall. So I really can't do anything about how high this is. Like, I can't take it out, so I'm going to have to go on top of it. So this is going to have to be the bottom of my slab, my bottom of my concrete. And if I want my concrete to be 4 inches, well, let me go get a tape measure. Okay, so like I was saying, this is going to be the bottom of my concrete. Concrete's going to be 4 inches. That basically puts me almost like just barely above the top of this board. So I'm just going to say, for reference, the bottom of this pine board. That's not too bad. I just have to put something against it so that the concrete isn't sitting on this sill, because that's I don't want to do that. I want to protect the sill from that, which means I'll have to fill like this spot in here with more stone, which means I need all the stone that I have to be the top of this height. And guys, telling you, looking at this place right now, I'm gonna need more stone. I got 1.5 feet. Where's the stone at? Or 1.5 feet. Where's the snow outside? So the other thing that I might do, and I haven't talked about all the steps. Like, yeah, I'm gonna put a vapor barrier in, and I actually want to put an inch of foam board as to act as like a thermal break of sorts between the ground and the actual room. I'd love to put 2 inches, but I don't think I can risk going that high. So I think I'm gonna put just 1 inch of foam board down, and then what I've talked to, so my engineer. I have an engineer who I run by a lot of my weird, crazy thoughts and ideas, and he actually gives me more crazy thoughts and ideas because he's my dad, and so it works out really nice that my father's an engineer. So I go to him, he gives me ideas, and this was one of his ideas that, of course, I kind of have to get approved by the building inspector before I do it. But he said do 1 inch, think about 1 inch of foam board and then possibly 3 inches of concrete. But instead of doing rebar or mesh in the concrete, you can get macro fibers, which is what he uses a lot with some of the stuff that he does. He does big buildings and bigger than just residential stuff. You can get macro fibers. Now there's microfibers and macro fibers. I've worked with microfibers before. Essentially what it is a fiber, small fibers that are already in the concrete that act as the reinforcer for mesh instead of or along with mesh or rebar. And so it actually can eliminate having to put any mesh bar, or whatever people call it. I just call it mesh rebar, the little grid things, or rebar itself in. It can eliminate that and like doing its job. So if I do 3 inches, which is skinnier than 4, that has a greater potential to crack or break. But if I do the macro fibers, it'll help strengthen it more. He says that it'll help more, but it'll be harder to finish because the macro fibers, of course, are bigger and more annoying when you go to finish it. It screws things up, which isn't a huge deal to me because I'm gonna cover all the, like the concrete isn't going to be the finished floor product anyway. I'm going to put something over it, so that's not a huge deal to me. Anyway, so that's my idea, is I'll run a board all the way across. I'll do 1-inch foam board, 3 inches of concrete with macro fibers. Of course, I gotta email my inspector and kind of get that approved. What are your thoughts on those things? Those are some ideas of where I'm at. I mean, I don't know. It's all a puzzle. It's all a puzzle. On a side note, the roof's held up all right. All the snow's come off the roof, which is always great. That means I literally have to shovel snow so that I can shovel stone. Thankfully, though, it's really not that much stone left. I think I've gotten like 95% of it in the house, which is why I'm nervous that I don't have enough, because if you look, I mean, this is a high point, but that's not. That's a high point, that's not. This is roughly grade. That is all seriously low. It's supposed to be at least to the top of that stone there. And that's 10 inches. And that's all low. And that's a little low. And behind it's low. And apparently that whole wall we found out today is low. Anyways, I know there wasn't a lot of work done today, but sometimes that's just reality. I don't actually get anything done. I just have to stand here and think, because I run into problems like unlevelness or joists or just crazy, plain crazy to me, myself, and I. I'm pretty sure I'm low on stone. I didn't really get a lot of physical work done today. I might try to rake some of this out, but probably not, because probably doesn't actually need to be raked out and leveled. It's just generally low. Found out that this end of the building is a couple inches low. This end of the building, the opposite end of the building, the other walls are fairly close. Not as problematic or questionable, so that's, I guess, good. So some more thoughts. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. You think I should do about that concrete. 3 inches, 4 inches, thermal barrier, vapor barrier, sand, board around the wall. I mean, like, I'm not pouring into the wall, so obviously where I have it opened up, I have to put something there, right? Maybe it'll help the wall if I just pour it in the wall. Not really. That's a joke. Macro, microfibers, mesh rebar. All thoughts. All thoughts. Thanks again for watching the video, seeing what we're up to over here at the broken house, as my kids call it. Anyways, so again, I just appreciate you guys watching. Thanks. Have a good one.